Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott, and today I'm delighted to return to Quo. It has been a while since they had posted new channelings, and so I was excited to see this one. This particular channeling comes from their Coming Home to a New Earth gathering. The one that they did last year had some amazing questions and answers. This one was delivered on June 30th, 2024, and covers a variety of topics, including embodying the automatic harmony of fourth density in the third density environment, the spiritual nature of music, whether phrases such as all is well may contribute to reduced motivation and discipline, a desire for a Quo hug. There's a cool part at the end of this where they ask Quo to give them a hug, and I'm calling upon Quo to give anybody who listens to this episode a hug and to join with us in this channeling. For those that don't know, Quo is a group of higher density beings that are channeled through LL Research. LL Research has been channeling entities for 50 years, and they originally channeled the Law of One or raw material. Quo answers questions of a spiritual nature, and these are so powerful to read and listen to because I believe they carry an energetic quality to them, and as you listen to them and as I speak them, something more is happening than just the words. Shifting into total harmony. Austin channeling. I am Quo. We greet this circle in the love and the light of the one infinite creator. We join you in great joy today as we have witnessed your gathering throughout the past few of your days and have been with you during this period. We have heard in your hearts, whether expressed intently or through your beingness, an invitation to join you in the circle of seeking. With each interaction of the open heart, each moment of inspiration and insight, with each connection made from creator to creator, the light you have generated together has grown more and more, and the combined harmony of this circle that has been generated in your short time together resonates to infinity. It has been a great honor for us to both witness and partake in this circle with you. We are even more happy now to attempt to offer our thoughts and opinions on the queries that you have within your mind and within your heart. Before we open ourselves to receive these queries, we would request our typical request, and that is that any word that we speak and any thought that we share, that you view this as coming not from a position of authority or as an edict for you to follow, but rather as a report of our own experiences and our own perceptions shared with our fellow brothers and sisters traveling upon the same path that we travel. We may have traveled somewhat farther than you, but your journey is your own, and we wish not to act as a stumbling block for you. And so we ask that you weigh each word against your own heart and your own journey, and take with you only that which may be useful for you in whatever way that you find use for it. If you do us this small favor, it will allow us to speak more openly and freely and commune with you as fellow seekers upon the path. At this time, we would ask if there is a query with which we may begin. Greetings from all of us in the love and light of the one infinite creator. In the Law of One 1650, Ra described fourth density as not of disharmony within peoples, where individual differences are pronounced, although automatically harmonized by group consensus. Can you talk about how we can learn to do this in third density, given the abundance of disharmony on Earth? I am Quo, and I'm aware of the query, my brother. We appreciate the opportunity to speak to this query, and we resonate with the heart from which it came. We find it an opportune query, for we can see within the hearts of those present that there may have been a taste of what this harmony might feel like within the fourth density in your brief gathering over the past few days. This query is also important to us, and we feel a great honor to respond to it, for we are here with you and with your planet in order to serve and to aid in the transition of your planet and the population upon it from the third density to the fourth density. Indeed, many of the mind-body-spirit complexes present within this circle of seeking are wanderers who taking upon them this goal and this effort to serve this planet, have incarnated within the third density and taken upon themselves the burdens and the distortions of this planet in order to aid in that transition. And this query is relevant still for those native third density entities who are attempting, with the time that they have here on this planet, to open the heart to an extent that they are able to then graduate to the fourth density. This question allows us to speak directly to that desire of ours to aid and the desire that you have within your heart to expand into the fourth density and to inhabit a realm in which disharmony is resolved and peace is more apparent. Before we address the heart of this query, we would point out that there is a sort of illusion of sequence that you have taken upon yourself by incarnating within the third density. To speak of those conditions within the fourth density would be to speak of the destination, whereas where you are right now speaks more to the journey, and it would be to abandon the gifts of that journey to attempt to inhabit the destination prior to fully accepting and taking in the journey as you walk it within your current density. There are very important distinctions and unique qualities and lessons to be learned within these two densities. Within the fourth density, most importantly, you will not have the veil of forgetting. This is one of the primary contributors to the dynamic spoken about within this query for the veil, which can simply be described as the illusory separation of the conscious and the unconscious mind. Indeed, reverberates to the very depths of your ability to perceive your own self and your other self and the creation about you. Without the veil, the innate quality of self as creator, of your other selves as creator, and as the creation as creator is unapparent to you. But once you graduate into the fourth density, this innate connection becomes clear. And so the disharmonies spoken about do not need to be wrangled with under the illusion that there are separate entities at play, that the disharmonies are arriving and arising from individuals who have their own motives and their own desires and their own goals. It is apparent without the veil that all these things arise from the will of the one infinite creator, but this is not apparent in your current environment. This is not apparent within the third density that you have accepted to incarnate into, and that you have in fact found joy and honor to be within. For it is important for the Creator to have this experience of forgetting itself, of forgetting its own nature, so that it can pretend for a time to be many, to have individual personalities, to cast a wide array, an infinite rainbow of selves and other selves. And this is an important step in the journey, for it allows the Creator to experience itself in such a novel and unique way that cannot be experienced without the simple separation caused by the veil. To attempt to live within the third density seeking automatic harmonization with those who may disagree, to seek automatic harmony where there is disharmony, would be to cast aside the gifts that this veil offers to the Creator, who you are. However, fourth density is a valuable environment to contemplate, for it is indeed your destination. And to understand what awaits you at that destination aids you in the journey to arrive there. It can inspire you to continue making that journey. When your trek takes you to the long desert of loneliness and through the difficult mountaintops of catalyst and difficulty, to know that upon the other side of the mountain awaits the peace that you can seek to help you to take that next step, to look around you and appreciate the journey that is taking you to that destination. This is what we wish to emphasize for you as entities and wanderers within the third density, that the environment that you are in is sacred, and that this environment contains innately within it disharmony, misunderstanding, unpleasant experiences, the seeming separation of self and other, self and groups and peoples. It contains the destruction and the pain that is caused by this illusion of separation. And all of this is indeed, though it is hard to see from where you are, a gift to the Creator. When these things manifest, we ask you to think about what you feel within your heart when you witness these things. It may initially seem as pain, but what is being pulled from you by these experiences is indeed the love of the one infinite Creator. The Creator is able to witness through you the seeming novelty of this separation and to find love in a way that has never found before. And so we would offer our thoughts to this query about how you, within the third density, can achieve that type of harmony described by those of Ra within the fourth density as a way to help you upon this journey that will get you to that destination. We would emphasize in this query that the fourth density is not just one in which there is no disharmony among other selves, but there cannot be disharmony within the self. This is an important aspect of the dynamic, for in truth, self and other self is an illusory distinction, and any disharmony within the self can be projected outward and seen as disharmony outside of the self, and create disharmony outside of the self, and other disharmony viewed amongst other selves is simply a reflection of that potential within your own self. This is the key, as we see it, of your journey within the third density, and your ability to take this trek and arrive finally within the fourth density of love and understanding. And that is that, within the third density, you will witness disharmony. You will experience disagreement with other selves, and this will generate within you some change, some emotion, some idea of how this is to be handled. And we encourage you that when you feel whatever it is you feel when encountering disagreement and disharmony, you take that feeling deep within your heart. At the end of your daily round of activities, find a sanctum of silence within the self to hold the disharmony and whatever it generates within you in the sacred inner space where you can find love and acceptance for that. As you hold it, you will find there is a light contained within this feeling. Whatever it is the disharmony has generated begins to illuminate those darker corners within the self, those aspects that have been veiled from you as a conscious being, and you can begin to bring those aspects more and more into the light and into the love that is within your heart. You will find that as you do this, the disharmonies within the self may dissolve, causing those seeming outer disharmonies to also dissolve. Or you may find there is a new clarity within the self that is able to express the love and the light of the Creator in a way that can help to illuminate the outer disharmony. This can be a long and difficult task, but it is an important one to remember as you seek towards the fourth density. It is only in addressing those inner shadows which are being illuminated by the growing light of fourth density, by healing those distortions within the self, that this evolution takes place. Whether accumulated in prior lifetimes or taken upon the self within your current lifetime, whether the distortion and the wound is personal to you or exists within the collective of your population upon your planet. These shadows manifest as disharmony and disagreement, and to heal them and to find love within them and to share that love outwardly, to expand in your acceptance and love of those about you, will automatically allow the conditions that are necessary for such disharmonies to resolve automatically to manifest. We will speak about one further aspect that is important in this dynamic that this planet is on the cusp of experiencing in terms of the cycles of the Creator. That is, as you as a planetary population can orient together and find within the heart of your collective mind the desire and the will to serve others to a certain extent. This will build the foundation of what we have called the social memory complex to be formed upon your planet. And this is, we may say, the final necessary step for the conditions of automatic harmonization described within the query to manifest. For as you orient all together, you harmonize in a certain way that allows your individual selves that you have discovered to your fullest extent to come together and resonate, not as one homogeneous being, but rather as a collection of infinitely unique individuals who share in a desire to move outward and serve others in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. And it is among these fellows that you will find that such disharmonies and disagreements can exist. But with the utter trust and faith that your other selves share the same heart that beats within your chest, you can accept that the collective that automatically emerges from the blending of yourself and your other selves is what is supposed to happen. is what is necessary for you as an individual and as a collective to express so that you may continue the journey, for it does not end once you reach that point of peace and joy that is available in the fourth density. Once you arrive in this sacred space, you will find the calling of the creation undeniable, unbearable to ignore, and you will want to join your fellow other selves within your social memory complex in serving to the greatest extent that you can. There is an aspect of us as Quo who are currently experiencing this within the fourth density, known to you as those of Haton. And those of Haton wish to encourage you, for they are quite excited for you to join them within the fourth density and go out and explore the furthest reaches of the one infinite creator, so that its love may be shown in more unique and inspiring ways to all beings within the creation. At this time, we would take leave of this instrument and transfer the contact to the one known as Trisha. We are Quo. We are those of Quo, and we are now with this instrument. May we ask if there is another query to which we may speak at this time. Thank you, Quo, for joining us in our circle of light. My question is specific to music, as our group has shared music this weekend in many ways. Can you please share how music affects the spirit and how fourth density may experience the vibration of music when shared in love? We are those of Quo, and we are aware of the query, my sister and my brother. The vibration which you call music is an immensely central and powerful force and energy for you of the third density. However, that beautiful force and energy is but a fraction of vibrational devotion and expression that the creation can experience and can create. And so while it may be a fraction of the infinite span of experience, we have been thoroughly overjoyed to witness the collective creation of this group in generating this particular vibration. This specific wave of energy, when intentionally created and imbued with love, and with personal experience, with history and memory, with observation and reflection, is as integral to the third density incarnation as the beating of the heart. It is what you would call universal in its ability to communicate between entities and between fragments of the Creator, and it can span what you call language barriers, for the emotion and the meaning behind and powering this particular vibration can be sensed without need for the use of the what you call language. And so the practice of creating and listening to and participating in the musical vibration is an endeavor that is inherently drenched, if you will, in the power of the love and light of the Creator. It is an intentional practice which moves energy between entities, and not only between the third density entities, but between each minute portion of the creation. The vibration you call music utilizes what you call rhythm. Rhythm is a part of most every expression of the Creator along all lines and all avenues of its expression. Think, if you will, of the rhythms of your daily experience. Think, if you will, upon the rhythms of the second density life. Those rhythms exist beyond your ability to imagine, and the vibration of music is, of course, intertwined with this rhythm. One can say or see that music is almost as important an expression of the Creator as the rhythms of the changing of your planet and the rhythm within your body. These are equal in their ability to affect and create meaning. Music has, in many of its forms, a progression, a dance. The entity enveloped in and utilizing the expression of music can be seen to participate in that particular progression, most especially when the entity is able to assign meaning, be it to the words or the sounds or to the emotions it brings up, or simply in its ability to be enjoyed and genuinely held with love. And so, when viewed as an entity itself of the Creator, a fellow self on the journey, music can be a most soothing and comforting tool for the spirit, for the soul in its growth and evolution. The recognition that it holds a life of its own, if you will, an ability to influence and communicate and express that allows it to move along in its journey as well. It is a great avenue for connection, and it is a beautiful force for realizing what is beyond the veil. Through this instrument, we are recalling the beautiful vibrations that were felt and heard in the previous circadian period, wherein the laughter and the stringing of chords and the vocalizations of harmonies were able to manifest into a ray of love that transcends the sensual experience of hearing and moves into the non-tangible, the indescribable space that is the heart that is the greater spirit of the one infinite creation that is all around you. And so this powerful vibration that you send up, perhaps unconsciously, into the universe and into galaxies, into all creation, is felt and heard and reverberates. It is a vibration that lacks the ability to cease, as once it is created, it bounds outward. It is felt. It becomes part of the Creator's memory, part of the Creator's, for lack of better phrasing, scrapbook or playlist that it may reference, that it may go back to and cherish and see a simple fraction of itself to better understand itself. And so we would, with every piece of our soul, state that the practice and the enjoyment of music is a positive practice, especially when shared with those in the spirit of love. And this particular experience is one that you may find as you progress along your journey. Music may take on many forms, however, the vibration will remain intact. It, along with the lessons that you learn, will walk the path as you journey into higher states of being. My friends, we have felt so filled with love, and we feel so honored to be a part of this circle today. We look forward to witnessing and being a part of your musical circles, and we hope that the vehicles by which music inspires you, that they continue to be fruitful and they continue to support you in your journey to understanding yourself as the Creator. Each of you, a unique strum on the string, a tap of a key, an incredible, unique sound wave. Again, we thank you all, and at this time we shall take our leave of this instrument and transfer the contact to the one known as Gary. We are those of Quo. Gary channeling. We are those of the principle of Quo, and it is with joy and hearts open wide that we greet this circle once again, with the privilege of being able to share a modicum of our thoughts in response to your heartfelt queries and seekings. If you were but aware of the infinite resources you have within your own being, your seeking hearts would be much bolstered and would be at a greater peace. But you have sought the veiled condition that you may seek, that you may develop the will and the faith, and we are happy in our limited way from something of a distance to be your collaborators in this regard. At this time, we would ask if there is a query to which we may respond. We are those of Quo. We have heard many times that all is well, all will be well, and there are no mistakes. But is it possible that such statements may actually lead us to be less disciplined or less motivated to do our best to be of service to others? We are those of Quo, and we have received this query, my brother, and we thank the questioner for its formulation, as it does present such a possibility for one considering our words, our report about the deeper, less illusory nature of unified reality. The simple response to this query is that indeed a third density entity may take any of our words or thoughts and use them in a way which does not quite serve that which they incarnated to accomplish. One may, with any artifact of communication, avoid the polarization in consciousness for which this density is designed. One may, upon your plane, engage in that which is known to you as the spiritual bypassing, by attempting to stand upon higher principles of self-realization without doing the work necessary to unearth such understanding within the being through the catalyst which has been processed and distilled for its love and light. One may invoke this notion that all is well in the midst of disharmony, in order to avoid one's responsibility to that disharmony or responsibility regarding their service to that disharmony. One may be in the midst of that which calls for the service of the self or the group, be it the need of another, the need of a planet experiencing great degradation and imbalance, and what you may see as harm upon your level, and sight that all is well, there are no mistakes, and retreat into comfort or numbness or forgetfulness, or escape of one variety or another. This does not undermine or negate the value of studying, integrating, and seeking to embody these higher principles, for such study and contemplation may bear great fruit for the seeker of third density. It is merely to state that whatever the underlying truth of any given situation may be, that situation presents the self the opportunity for work in consciousness, for examining one's catalyst in the daily round of activities, for looking for where love was limited within or for the self, or between selves, to sussing out where the imbalance is within the self, between other selves, the seeking of the understanding an application of the deeper truth of your moment, that being the total freedom from mistake from the Creator's perspective, the perfection of the moment from the Creator's perspective, which we remind you, you are. We pause to deepen this instrument's contact. We apologize for the discontinuity in this transmission. We resume with the suggestion that much fruit may and will be born of contemplation of the deeper understanding of the nature of the self and of reality itself. To begin, and we stress begin, to see that indeed whatever is transpiring upon the surface, all is well, may offer the self the permission to release the fear that clouds the judgment, to release a sense of being threatened, to more firmly and boldly and bravely go forth with the open heart, knowing that by surface measures, catastrophe may await one or the group. Great difficulty may be afoot. Loss and limitation may accompany one or be a consequence of any given decision, yet the higher response always is to keep that green ray energy center alive and flowing unimpeded, fearlessly, loving whatever may be that which greets the eyes and the senses. In contemplating the deeper understanding of the nature of reality, the self may be free of attachment to outcome that would cause or precipitate or exaggerate the fear which distorts perception, which wholly misapprehends what is actually transpiring in any situation. Fear is quite convincing and seductive within its container. It can overtake the self, pulling the self into its gravity of darkness, of cut-offness, of aloneness, and the world itself can indeed be seen through the eyes of fear, even seemingly rationally, for there are things to fear from the standpoint of an entity identified with its body and its thoughts, an entity which has forgotten its roots and its nature as a boundless, infinite, and eternal being of and forever in the moment. Looking through those eyes of fear, the self must still exercise its intelligence and its decision-making capacity and make choices informed by a deep sense that indeed all is not well, and choices will be made that are likely in denial of or even abuse of love. One may, in this misapprehension, go upon the attack. One may erect barriers to a situation which calls for healing. If it could be seen with love, one may even quite painfully avoid their own highest potential, their own service and gift which they wish to offer the world, because they believe sincerely that they operate in an environment where things are not well, where there are a great many things to fear, where they may be rejected, and in being rejected experience loss and diminishment because, cut off from their eternal nature, they are finite and afraid of the loss of identity, of the loss of that which you may describe as ego. The separate self must be maintained at all cost. The separate self must be defended, even if that means retreating, injured, and wounded from the arena which you came to serve. It is a scary place you look upon with these third density eyes, unaware of your true nature. Many a danger lurk around the corner. You may not be able to trust the motivations and intentions of the many other faces that you see, including sometimes those close to you, and on and on. Such a mindset may contribute to the ongoing misapprehension of the Creator. Meanwhile, of course, such a self is never actually separated. It is an illusion which has got hold of the perspective, which has been energized into the construct and walls of reality itself. Meanwhile, love permeates the being. Love calls and asks for the return of the self, which has, through the magic of identification, left its true estate and entered into a black box of separation, and is playing a game within that box whereby it is one of mortal, finite, and vulnerable. Vulnerable to the winds of misfortune and limitation and all the things which the separate self strives so mightily to avoid, meanwhile missing that which is always and forever true in and only in the present moment, that being love and light, unity and joy. We of the Confederation have commended to your attention the spiritual practice and discipline of the meditation, prayer, and contemplation. In the act of contemplation in particular, one can bring a focus to their contemplation. One may hold in the forefront of the mind some principle, thought, understanding, energy or thread within the being and hold it there in the attention, and hold it again and examine it with perhaps the tool of the intellectual, intuitive mind, but first and foremost with awareness. Let that which is gazed upon seemingly in the interior landscape of one's consciousness be with the self. Let that gaze turn into absorption, turn into integration, with poor substitutes the avatars and symbols that you call words that we share with you in order to attempt to give window into the reality that we know. The reality that is, one can consider these words in contemplation. One can go beyond the words to understand, as the finger pointing to the moon, what it is which these words point to and suggest and evoke. And in this contemplation, in consideration these adjectives and phrases, one can clarify the inner tangles that are built of beliefs within the self, that all is not well, all is lost. A terrible thing has occurred, a terrible experience is what is available upon your plane. Through that thicket and those tangles and those shadows, one can consider what has been shared from those who have seen. Disregard our words and those of channeled sources, those discarnate beings, and consider those among your own peoples who have seen and shared report, not of a distant exotic land, but of your true home and true estate which exists within you now, but from which you in misapprehensions have become estranged. Consider these words in your contemplation, that there are no mistakes, ultimately that all is whole, complete, and perfect, and you may find your heart strengthened. You may find the dams of blockage that you placed to that infinite river that wishes to flow through you, gradually or maybe even dramatically removed, that the heart may flow once again and open wide, and you as a citizen of eternity may once again enter into paradise, that you may then, through your very vibration and being, share with others and invite others into the same, into their own inner sanctum, into their own inner Eden. When one can contemplate and take within their being as a practice and discipline this understanding of wholeness, completion, and perfection, one can release some stress, you may say, one can release some anxiety, one can release the judgment, one can still strive for excellence and perfection, but one can, as you would say, cut the self some slack, knowing that whether you choose left or right, whether this career or that career, whatever it is you may do, whatever it is you may place your feet upon the stage which you dance, you cannot make a wrong choice. Partial, limited, separated, and fragmented though you may feel, the truth of the matter is that you are already whole. You are already complete, however much it may seem on the surface that you must strive for some level of completion. And this understanding of already, one can relax. One can create the space within which this deeper reality may manifest within the self. One may cease the groping in the moonlight, as was discussed in a presentation that this instrument attended, and instead surrender in the trust and in the total faith of the one infinite Creator. At this time, we would transfer our contact to the one known as Austin. We are those of Quo, Austin channeling. I am Quo, and I'm once again with this instrument. We are aware that there is one further request during our time together with you. We ask this request be vibrated at this time. Thank you for being with us today. Could you hug us so each of us can feel your presence as much as possible? I am Quo, and we appreciate this request, my brother. We are filled with jubilation at the opportunity to respond. As we have spoken, we have been with you throughout your time together, witnessing the moments of heart opening and connection, and we have felt at one with you. And now we can attempt to make our presence known in your heart and join you more explicitly. We will offer some moments of silence in which we ask you to reach into your heart where we are and where we have been with you. It is here that you may find an inkling of our presence, that if you allow it to, can grow. And together we may embrace all as one and allow our connection to flow with you. You will hopefully notice it within your chest and your heart area, but each individual may experience this connection and presence differently. At this time, we would pause to allow each present to seek this embrace within. I am Quo. We thank each present with profound gratitude for your openness and invitation for us to join you, not just in seeking, but in fellowship and in love. We assure you that if you perhaps did not feel anything distinct that you could identify as our presence, the exchange was still made, and in your invitation we ourselves grow and advance in our own path. For it is such requests of connection and call for our service that allows us to be potentiated, to move and to serve. You empower us, just as we attempt to offer you our words of inspiration. We encourage you to recognize that any love or inspiration that you have felt, whether from our presence or from our presence of your precious other selves, can be accessed at any time, that you are not, as it were, a cup that has been filled with love, but rather a vessel through which love can flow. And the circumstances of your time together have allowed you to open that valve and allow the love to flow freely. You may find that as you go back out into the world where there is this disharmony and the difficulty, the catalyst that troubles the mind and the heart, that this valve may be affected and turned down. But the only circumstances necessary for you to find that valve and open it again exist within yourself. In any given moment, you have access to the infinite potential of the one infinite creator, and its love and its light can flow through you into a world desperate for that love and desperate for that light. Take your time together here as a reminder that it is accessible and it is within you, and you are the creator radiating love and light. At this time, we would take leave of this instrument and of this circle of seeking. We leave you as we found you, in the love and in the light of the one infinite creator. We are Quo. Adonai, my friends, Adonai Vasu Boragas. This channeling from Quo covers several profound spiritual topics related to the transition from third density to fourth density. First of all, they talk about harmony in fourth density. Quo is explaining that in fourth density, individual differences are pronounced but automatically harmonized through group consensus. This is challenging to achieve in third density due to the veil of forgetting that makes us feel separate from each other and the Creator. They also talk about the journey versus the destination, and Quo emphasizes that third density is about the journey of self-discovery and learning, while fourth density is the destination. And they encourage embracing the challenges of third density as gifts for spiritual growth. They discuss inner work and harmony, and to move towards fourth density harmony, Quo suggests focusing on inner work, addressing our own shadows and disharmonies as we heal internally. External disharmonies may dissolve or become easier to navigate. There's a fascinating question about music and spirituality, and Quo describes music as a powerful spiritual force that transcends language barriers and connects all aspects of creation. They suggest that music will continue to evolve and play a significant role, but I don't see anywhere in there where they're saying that music is around in the fourth density. I hope it is. There's an interesting question about the concept of all is well. Quo addresses the potential pitfall of using spiritual concepts like all is well to avoid responsibility or growth. They explain that while these concepts hold deep truths, they shouldn't be used to spiritually bypass necessary work or avoid serving others. Quo discusses how fear can distort our perception and lead to a sense of separation from our true, infinite nature, and they encourage contemplation and meditation to overcome these limitations. The channeling emphasizes that we are already whole and complete, even if we don't feel that way. Recognizing this can help release stress and judgment, allow for more open-hearted living. The session concludes with Quo offering a spiritual hug or energetic embrace to the participants. Please let me know if you felt a hug when I read this and allowed that little silence there. I would have loved to be in that room to feel that, because I believe it is a powerful experience that is genuine. Throughout this channeling, Quo is encouraging seekers to embrace the challenges of third density while holding awareness of the greater spiritual truth. And they emphasize the importance of inner work, open-heartedness, and recognizing our inherent connection to the Creator and all beings. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com, and welcome to The Reality Revolution.